Hey, this is Jarrett.
And this is Eli.
And we're the Sports Jabbers with the Lefties. Today we're going to have two topics that we're going to talk about that are kind of in the news. Both Chris Jones' contract with Kansas City and
Derrick Henry signing an extension with the Tennessee Titans.
Okay, you want to go first?
Sure. We'll start with Chris Jones' contract because the Chiefs just won the Super Bowl. Chris Jones signed a 4-year, $85 million contract. It's really $80 million, $5 million worth of incentives. It's $37 guaranteed, but $60 million guaranteed in the case of injury. He's making, He is making $16 million his first year, which is not that much. But then you go to 2021, and he's making $21 million. 2022, he's making $22 million. In 2023, he's making $20 million. That's a lot of money.
That is, and I think the question, once again, we always have to ask ourselves is number one, is he worth that salary? And then two is how's going to be the makeup of the team based on that amount of salary?
The Chiefs are really, they're really close to the cap. They have this year Mahomes is only making $5 million, so they're fine right now. But then you get to 2021, you have Frank Clark making $25 million, Tyreek Hill making $15 million, Tyrann Mathieu making $19 million, Chris Jones making $21 million, Eric Fisher making $14 million, Anthony Hitchens making $10 million. Where's Patrick Mahomes? He's not on here. Oh, he's down here. Patrick Mahomes is making $24 million. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They have 8 players making more than $10 million. And majority of those players, and 2 of them are making over 20, and a few of them are making close to 20. They're not going to have any money to sign anyone.
Well, most likely they're probably going to have to do some cuts too. I mean, the problem is, and this is, I think they're on their Super Bowl high over here. The problem that I have is that they have too much money in too few players. And in football, everybody's important. And that's a problem when you put these huge percentages. Like if you look at 2021, it looks like Frank Clark, his hit's going to be 13% of the cap. And Patrick Mahomes is like 12.52 if you get the exact number. So you're talking about 25% of the cap hit based on 2 players. And this is what the problem is they put so much money in when teams win, they just keep on putting money into these players, and they are all great players, and they're honestly probably all worth their salaries. That's why they got the salaries that they got. But the problem is when you have too many of them on one team, you're basically depleting the rest of the team. And so, okay, you have a couple of stars, but then you have a lot of players who just don't equal the talent. And this is why a lot of these teams end up going downhill very, very quickly. Now, the one good aspect about football, which I like compared to a lot of other sports that we are going to be talking about, is most of these contracts, as I said, are only really a couple of years. In fact, if you go into, let's say, 2023, which is only a couple of years from now, how many people are on contract? Let's see here. You got 3 players, Patrick Mahomes, Frank Clark, and Harrison. Is it Butker? Am I saying that?
Harrison Butker, the kicker.
Okay. So you got 3. Yeah, so you got 3 players, really 2 players and a kicker. So you got 3 players in 2023 on contract. So you can switch around a team very, very quickly. That's why when you have a new
4 players: Frank Clark, Chris Jones, Patrick Mahomes, and Harrison Butker.
Oh, well, because Chris Jones, yes. Because now, I'm looking at the old yes. This is not updated. So the bottom line is the point of that I'm trying to make is that yes, they're going to be okay this year because Patrick Mahomes is not making a lot of money. But by next year, they are going to have a problem. And you're going to probably end up seeing some of the players that have a large amount of salary versus dead cap are going to end up getting cut. And that's expected. They're not going to be able to keep everybody because you can't play with 10 players on the field. But once again, is as I said, even though people get all stressed and they're like, oh my God, this is horrible. The issue is they can really turn it around very quickly. You have a new general manager. Within 2 or 3 years, you can basically have a completely new football team. Take that for what it's worth.
This year, I think they're going to be good again, right? They have it. I think they're going to be good again. I don't know if they're going to win the Super Bowl, but I think they're going to be good again. Next year is where the problems come. 2021, looking at their cap right now, is really bad. They have 2021, 2022, their cap's really bad. 2023, they finally get rid of a lot of contracts. But still, look at this. They have 4 players making, close to 100 million, 80 million, over 80 million, close to 90 million, right? Even then, it's a good percentage of the cap.
Yes, but once again, my point is that you're right. Probably 2021 is probably going to be tough to get out of. But by 2022, 2023, they can really clean house. So, yes, they do bind themselves up a lot, and I think they did. I agree with you. 2021 is probably not going to be a good year. They're going to have to make some cuts, but they can only cut so much because, you have to weigh the dead money versus the somebody's going to make $12 million, but the dead money is going to be $9 million. You're only going to save $3 million. So you got to weigh those two things before you cut a player. 2021 I think is going to be a rough year for Kansas City Chiefs. I think this year they're going to be good. I think they're going to have some problems in 2021 because they're invested in too many players. And, to me, your best chance of being a really high-quality, talented team is playing on young players, rookies. And as you get older, I think the amount of money that they make versus what they give you to the team is just not worth it.
I think in 2022, they're still going to have problems. I mean, they're going to have less problems than 2021, but they're still going to have problems. I'm looking at this cap, and it's tight. They can cut a few players. Right? The dead money here is they can't cut Frank Clark. I mean, I guess they can cut Tyreek Hill. They can cut Anthony Hitchens. They can't cut Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, I guess. But then they're losing all these great players that won them the Super Bowl.
Yes. Well, to me, I'm on the camp. I mean, I think we all have different camps on how we feel about all the different positions. My personal opinion is, and this is just my opinion, the only player that's worth a ton of money that can really change a team is the quarterback. I think edge rushers are way overvalued, even cornerbacks. I mean, I think they're all, listen, it's a team, it's football. Every position is important, right? And every cog is very important in this whole system. But I think the quarterback can really, I mean, you've had great, and we'll talk about this with, Derrick Henry too, with all these positions. I mean, you could have the best edge rushers and the best cornerbacks, but none of those positions really move a team. It's the quarterback. It's always the quarterback.
I want to give an example with the Rams. Aaron Donald is the best pass rusher in the NFL currently and one of the best of the all-time NFL. Aaron Donald has been dominant. I don't know if his rookie season was as dominant as he is today, but he's been dominant for most of his career. And he's been with the Rams the entire time. And he's been making, I know he's making over 20 right now. The entire time he's been with the Rams, they have only made the playoffs a few years. I know they went to the Super Bowl run, and that was because Jared Goff got hot. Not because Aaron Donald, because of Jared Goff, the quarterback. They have not been a good team majority of Aaron Donald's career. Even though Aaron Donald has played phenomenal, edge rushers do not make as much of an impact as, say, a quarterback. And they're making low-end quarterback money. And they do not make that much of an impact, which I don't understand why you would want to tie up your cap like that.
Yes. Well, and also just to say, it was 2017 and 2018 where they were in the playoffs. And then before that, it was 2000. It looks like.
But they didn't do anything 2017.
No, they lost in a wild card.
Yeah, but 2018 they went to the Super Bowl. They went to the playoffs in 2017, but they weren't that great. 2018 they went 13-3 and they dominated.
Yes.
Until the Patriots completely dominated them in the Super Bowl.
No, yeah, I agree. I mean, we'll have more topics on positions and players and contracts. But for now, I definitely think he's worth the salary that they paid him. I just don't think Kansas City should have paid him. Like, you just can't sign all your players. And I think they're trying to keep everybody. And I definitely think, on every team, you need a couple of great players, but you can't have an all-star NFL team. You're putting it into like 7 or 8 or 9 players, and then everybody else is going to be making $1 million. You're not going to have you need a lot of positions to make the team work. And I feel like they just put too much and too many players. So the issue is, so do I feel he's worth the salary? Yes. Do I feel Kansas City should have signed him for that amount of money? Probably not. Or they're just going to have to say, okay, well, we want him, but you're going to have to sacrifice in 2021. Yeah.
Well, in order to be a good team, you need a few great players, quite a bit of good players, and then some decent players on the rest of the roster, right?
Yes.
What Kansas City's doing is they're getting all their great players. Like you said, they're keeping like these 9 great players. But the problem is they're going to have 6-round picks for the rest of their, like from free agency. They're going to sign guys who couldn't even stay on their team. And it's going to be like these 9 players carrying the team. You need, like you said, you need other positions to carry the team. You can't win with a few great players and a bunch of people who are not good at the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you look, in 2021, what is Frank Clark's going to make 25.8. Tyreek Hill's going to make 15.8. Tyrann Matthews 19.7. Chris Jones 21.5. Eric Fisher 14.6. Andy Hitchens 10.7. Kelsey 9. Schwartz 10. I mean, you have and do they even have? They don't even have Mahomes here, which on this
They do. He's more down. I don't know why. I thought that too. He's
websites.
further down.
So you got 5 or 6, 7 or 8 guys who are making basically the whole football team. And right now the cap is 198.2 million for 2020. I don't know what's
going to go down with COVID.
Yeah, exactly. It may go down. Even if it doesn't go down, it's going to stay the same.
But
I think go up.
I think there were plans of them spreading it out. Like if it's 40 million going down, they're going to do like four each year for 10 years. I think they're going.
Well, we know that it's unlikely to go up.
Yes.
So so in the end, my position is he worth the salary? Yes. Really good defensive tackle. I mean, you look at his numbers, he's worth it. Should Kansas City have signed him? I would say no or yes, but then you're going to have to cut somebody else because you just can't pay everybody. You want to. I think they're in that Super Bowl high where they just won and everybody's all happy and everybody loves each other. And when you win, everybody's all happy and wants to give away money left and right. But I think in the end, they're going to have some tough decisions to make in 2021 and definitely by 2022.
Well, after 2021, they can cut him and the dead money is 0. It's 0 dead money if they cut him.
So that's good.
It's very backloaded, right? Because the first year they got him as a steal. He's only playing for $16 million for a player that plays of that talent. That's crazy good. $16 million for a guy who got 15.5 sacks last year. Well, 9 sacks last year, but the year before that he had 15.5 sacks at the defensive tackle position. So then in 2021 they're paying him $21 million. I think he's still worth that. But then after that, he's making $22 million in 2022. But you can cut him and save all of that money and hit it and you get 0 dead money.
Yeah, so I think that's a smart move too, to allow them to get out of it if he's not playing up to his potential. So anyway, I think we're done with this topic. Let's talk about Derrick Henry a little bit, and we can talk about his salary. You can talk about his salary a little bit. We can see is he worth it? I mean, this is always, I think, the debate that we have based on running backs. When I first started watching football compared to now. So why don't you talk a little bit about his contract, Eli? And then
yesterday, Derrick Henry signed a 4-year, $50 million contract with the Tennessee Titans. In 2020, he's only making $6 million, which is a steal. Oh, and I forgot to say, $25.5 million is guaranteed. $25.5 million is guaranteed. So that's the first 2 years, pretty much, with a little bit of dead money in the end. It's basically a 2-year contract. The first year, the cap hit is $6 million. For a player of his talent, that's amazing. $6 million. That's like a second-round pick or something like that. That's crazy. And then in 2021, he's making $13.5. Still, I still think that's less than he should get. And then they can cut him after that with him only making not that much money. But then 2022 is when the money starts coming and he gets $15 million. And the after that, he gets $15.5 million. They backloaded this contract so they don't have to pay it. I think because he has not been great his entire career. Last year, he had a breakout season. So they're being on the safer side, and they're not taking a huge gamble. So they really backloaded this contract. The Tennessee Titans did an amazing contract right here. Derrick Henry did not. I think his agent did not do a great job. I think he deserves more than what he got. The Titans did a great job at doing this contract. They can cut him after 2. If he does not look good, they can cut him after 2 years with a $6 million dead cap, with only paying him the year before $13.5 million against the cap, and the year before that $6 million. I don't know how the Titans got Derrick Henry to sign on. This is an amazing contract for the Titans.
Well, I would have to disagree. So let's go back. So, I'm a little older than you, and I remember watching football when I was a kid. And, the running back, football has changed when I used to watch it to how it is now. When I used to watch, the running back was an important position. Nowadays you can't touch the quarterback. The quarterback can do a little ballet dance. You can't touch him. You touch him, it's a foul. So the issue is penalty. So the issue is that, it was harder. It was much slower. The running back really was an important part of moving that offense. It was slower. It was more in the mud, slowing down. Nowadays, it's obviously we've proven that it's a quarterback league. It was not like that. Yes, I was back with the Joe Montana days, so quarterback has always been very important, but it was just different. The running back was more important in the team. Nowadays, the difference between, I don't believe running backs are worth too much, I'll be honest with you. I don't think they're worth investing a large amount of money in. Even 5 to 10% of the salary cap, I just don't think they're worth it. And the reason why is because not all running backs. So, when you look at them, let's say a top running back, like he had a really awesome year. What do you had, like 1,500 and something yards?
1,600 yards.
I thought it was 15 and something.
Let me look it up.
I thought it was 15 something. But he had a huge amount. He had a ton amount of yards. Now, listen. If he the problem is does he consistently do that? Now he helped them
1,500 yards.
1,500. So if he consistently does that every year, maybe he's worth it. Most running backs don't consistently average 1,500 yards. Okay, a good running back is what,
1,200 yards,
1,200, above 1,000, somewhere around there. You'll have your money's worth if you get above 1,000. So, but most of the time they don't change your wins. A running back will not increase your wins. Okay. So, and you can take 2 or 3 nowadays. A lot of times it's based on running backs, based on committee. You can have 2 or 3 guys. If they even give you 400 or 500 yards each, you're going to get your running yards. The one exception I would say is if, at the time, Le'Veon Bell, okay, I don't think he was definitely worth the salary that they paid him based on his age, but when he was really young, right, he was not only a running back, but he was like a receiver. So he was catching a lot of footballs, right? So also you got Christian McCaffrey, right?
Christian McCaffrey is an amazing running back. Christian McCaffrey is an all-around guy. He catches last year. I don't know about this year, but I know in 2018 he got 1,000 receiving yards and 1,000 rushing yards.
Yes,
he does it all. He's an amazing receiver. He's an amazing running back.
Yes,
he's the best running back in this league.
Well, yes. So here's my point. If you have a dual-purpose running back who can get you 700 to 1,000 rushing yards, which, okay, fine, but also is a receiver. So now you almost have to say, okay, well, now we got to pay him kind of in the receiver salary, right? So what's a good receiver going to make? 10, 15 million, somewhere around that for a dude.
Even Amari Cooper is making 20 million.
That's
a stupid contract.
That's crazy money. We'll also argue, I think receivers are not worth the money that they are based on the position. But
quarterback makes the receiver, not the receiver.
Yes. But now if let's say, but here's the thing. Derrick Henry, how many receiving yards has he gotten?
Not much.
Not much.
He's not a receiving back.
No.
He's a ground and pound running back. He runs through you.
Yes. So now you have to pay him. You have to pay him on a pure running back, right? So, and if you look at his salaries,
What was that? The computer started making noises.
I don't know what that was. It was very nice. I don't know. But that was very nice. But that was a good intro to what I was going to talk about. So we'll keep that. So anyway, so if you look here in, let's look at the stats now. Got me thrown out of whack here. So 2016.
I think that threw everyone out of whack.
Yeah, 2016, he had 490 yards. 2017, he had 744 yards. 2018, this is when he starts taking off. Okay, this is his third year. He's getting comfortable. 1,059. And he had his breakout year last year, which is 1,540. So you're really paying him based on his one breakout year. Now, at that time, he had what? He had 18 receptions for 206 yards. In 2018, it was 15 receptions. 2017, 11 receptions. 2016, 13 receptions. So he's somewhere between a 10 to 20 reception. Give you 100, 200 yards. So he's really a pure running back. And the question is and listen, I don't think he's going to average 1,500 yards the next couple of years. Maybe I'm wrong. Obviously, time will tell. But even if you're paying him, let's say he's giving you 1,000 yards or so, is he worth, 12 million a year for a running back when the other running backs are making 2-3 million and getting 700-800 yards? I mean, so how much of your cap is he worth? And that's the question. Now, as I said, I would argue that if he was giving you 1,200 yards, but he was also giving you 1,000 receiving yards, well, then I'm like, okay, I'm not just paying him to be a running back. And I think that's where a lot of people, when I listen to commentators, they kind of say, oh, well, all running backs are not worth money. And I say, well, no. If he's a running back that's a receiver and he's doing as much as a quality receiver, should be clumped in as both a receiver and a running back. And therefore, his salary should be higher than a typical running back.
I disagree with you. However, like you said, that running backs are not a great position to be paid a lot of money. But Derrick Henry's different. Derrick Henry carried this team last year. He brought them to the AFC Championship. Ryan Tannehill.
And you think he's going to do that every year? He's just going to. How many times has
he ran? The Patriots, I'm pretty sure, had the number one rush defense in the league. He ran for 184 yards on them.
You think that's going to repeat itself? How many times is a running back? Okay, how many times is a running back? We want to get into this. How many times is a running back?
Not every running back is Derrick Henry. Not every running back is Derrick Henry. In the modern NFL, Derrick Henry is a different running back.
Adrian Peterson,
Adrian Peterson was amazing.
Amazing. How many times did he get you to the Super Bowl?
Don't know. I did not watch football then.
I don't think ever. Right?
He played with the Vikings. No.
Yes.
But Derrick Henry brought them to the AFC. Okay, they started 2-4, the Titans. I know this. Then Ryan Tannehill was put in. They started winning. And Derrick Henry also started becoming good. Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill became an incredible duo. They became what Gurley and Goff were.
The promise, too, is it's hard to be. So if you think about it, it takes a lot more work to bring the ball up the field by running it than it is to pass. I mean, a guy can pass 15, 20 yards, one pass, boom, you go right down the field. So the game could play faster if you use a quarterback bringing the ball up than a running back. So during the season, okay, all right, he might help you with 1 or 2 wins, but when it comes to the playoffs, you're never going to win that way because it's going to be slower for you to score, and you got like somebody like Patrick Mahomes, okay, all right, great, you have a little bit of lead, and 2 minutes later, he throws like 3 passes down the field.
They got to the AFC Championship with him.
Yeah, okay. Listen, I'm not saying that he didn't have an amazing year in that, but the question is, can you consistently win with that? Is it worth putting money into a running back?
I don't know. That's why the contract is amazing, because they're only paying him $6 million this year, which is not a lot.
Okay,
then 13 and a half next year, and then they can cut him. So
it's not. Yes. So that's really, the one. Even though we debate and we argue, that's the.
And then if he's amazing, then they keep him for the next 2 years.
Okay, sure. And that's one of the things I love about football compared to a lot of other sports. And as a fan, it's not good for the players because if they don't consistently perform, they're not going to have their money. But as I said, I have a job. If I don't consistently perform, I get fired. And most of you out there, if you don't consistently perform, right, you don't have a job. That's the one thing I love about football. And I think most people love about football as a sports fan is yes, we have a 4-year contract. You have a 4-year contract with him, but if he doesn't perform, they can cut him, and then it can turn your team around as a fan. You can have a horrible team. That's the one great part about like football too. Your team could be the worst team in the NFL. and 2 years later you can be in like a Super Bowl. And you cannot say that for like other sports. I mean, you know the good teams that are always going to be the good teams, and you know the bad teams, and it takes many, many years to work your way up to a good team with other sports because they have these fixed contracts, so they can get really bogged down. Where football is yes. So I don't think he's worth 13.5. He's not worth that. Okay. Now you're going to say that he is.
I think he's worth more than that.
I say no. I say no.
You don't think he's worth 13.5? A guy who just ran for 1,500 yards and carried a team to the AFC Championship. You do not think he's worth $13 million?
No, because he's just a pure running back, and I can get 2 running backs for $1 or $2 million each to get you 1,000 yards or 1,100-1,200 yards, especially in the style of play that they do.
There was plays that I saw that it was going to be a loss of like 2-3 yards, and he breaks he puts 3 guys on the floor. And he runs to get to like 10 yards. He breaks. There was this one play against the Ravens, right? The Ravens who went 14-2, and then the Titans just crushed him because Derrick Henry stiff-armed Earl Thomas twice. Derrick Henry is an animal. He deserves to be paid more than what he's being paid.
Okay. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I think you're wrong.
I think you're wrong.
I guess
I'm face palming inside.
I guess we'll see how he does this next 2 years, and we'll talk about it then. All right. So once again,
this is Eli.
This is Jared,
and this is Sports Jabber with the Lefties. Thanks for tuning in.